Thanks very much, Chair, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. Mr. Chu, the information you've provided this committee certainly shows an astounding double standard that existed between the way that the Prime Minister's office and what is not just the office of the Prime Minister, but the establishment of government and the massive resources that exist in the context of what whether that be directly with security establishment and intelligence apparatus, or the communications capacity of a government that is the size of the government of Canada. It shows an incredible double standard that existed between the way that they treated a the threat of disinformation targeting their political fortunes versus the political fortunes of their political opponents. Is that something that you'd agree with? And would you have any further comments on that double standard?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I certainly get that impression myself as well. The Panel of Five and the Site Task Force, these are decision makers that aggregate and assess on aggregated information that is provided to them. So they are very far from where disinformation and misinformation happens locally. Canada has 338 ridings right now. There are many communities and ridings in that are relatively in isolation, perhaps. Stephen Richmond East, for example, is in the city of Richmond that has more than 55% of ethnic Chinese, and then the rest of 45% are composed of also multiculturalistic communities as well. So there are ample opportunities for ambitious foreign actors to sway the result and change people's mind.
And if I could, and I'll, for the last 90 seconds or so, I'll pass it over to my colleague, Mr. Brock. But would you be willing to share, you said attacks on your integrity. Could you share with the committee some of those personal attacks, what you experienced, and hopefully if you can keep it in about 45 seconds, then I'll pass it over to my colleague.
Absolutely. Even until recently, when I testify when I was summoned at the commission hearing, there had been still disinformation being spread on CRTC regulated airwaves that says I am a liar, that says there has been zero proof for the Uyghur genocide that I advocated, that my proposed registry for foreign interference, it's entirely designed to persecute Chinese. So these attacks continue. I imagine they're concerned about me running again, and therefore harming their ability to propagate these attacks.
Thank you very much, and thanks for being honest with this committee, because I think that especially with somebody with your background, to face those attacks, I cannot imagine how that made you and your family, the challenges you faced as a result. But I'll pass it over to Mr. Brock.
1.5, Mr. Brock.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chu, your experience is extremely disturbing and alarming to parliamentarians and Canadians. I'm very sorry that you experienced the misinformation and disinformation campaign from the PRC, and that your own government failed you miserably. What I'm interested in, though, is more information with respect to the Liberal candidate who won the election. You talked about his amplification of the misinformation and disinformation. Can you give me more examples as to how he did that?
From what I've gathered, it's by attending radio interviews and also community events that he publicly announced that he is not going to support this anti-Asian foreign interference registry. There had been zero clarification as to the BLC 282 that I proposed. What exactly does it do? There has been no mentioning of any country whatsoever, and the fact that it's to inject transparency into political lobbying activities. These subtleties, these intricacies are not being clarified during those opportunities. And therefore, by doing that, By not helping me to clarify my character, he perpetrated and continued the assassination attempts.
Did that continue the entire written
Right on
process?
Yes.
Thank you.